Before you judge me, answer this honestly. If your partner's phone buzzed at 10 p.m. and they grabbed it like it was about to expose their whole life, would you laugh it off? Or would something in your chest start screaming that you were being played? Because that's the moment my marriage died. Not when I caught him kissing another woman, not when the lies unraveled, but in that split second when I saw fear flash across my husband's face, the kind of fear you only see when someone's secret is about to escape. We were the couple everyone envied, 10 years together, high school sweethearts. The goals couple people used as proof that real love still exists. Sunday pancakes, shared playlists, inside jokes, the whole fake perfect package. And the wild part, it wasn't fake to me. I believed in it. I defended it. I would have bet my entire life on him being loyal. That night, rain was smearing the windows like the world itself was trying to blur what I didn't want to see. We were halfway through a dumb thriller where the husband turns out to be the villain. And I remember rolling my eyes like, yeah, right, nobody misses that many red flags in real life. I reached for his phone to check the time, and he flinched so hard it was like I'd reached for a weapon. That flinch told me more than any confession ever could. People don't flinch when they're innocent. They flinch when they're cornered. 5 minutes later, he was in the kitchen whispering into his phone like I wasn't even in the house. 10 minutes later, he was throwing clothes into an overnight bag, feeding me a story about a last-minute business emergency and a red-eye flight to Chicago. He kissed me goodbye like I was a chore he had to check off. And here's the part that still messes with my head. I almost believed him. I stood there in the doorway watching his taillights disappear, telling myself I was crazy for feeling sick, telling myself love means trust, telling myself I was lucky to have a man who worked so hard for us. Then I felt something under the couch cushion. His passport, the thing you don't need for Chicago, the thing you only forget when you're lying too fast to keep track of your story. That's when I opened the tracking app we'd set up for safety. That's when I saw his location turned the wrong way. And that's when I realized I wasn't about to catch him cheating. I was about to drive straight into the one place that would destroy everything. I thought I knew about my husband because the woman waiting for him wasn't just some random mistake. She was married to the one man he claimed to hate more than anyone else on earth. And if you think that's where the story peaks, you have no idea how ugly this gets. The rain was coming down sideways against the window, that ugly kind of rain that makes the world feel smaller, like you're trapped inside your own life. Mark was stretched out on the couch next to me, one arm around my shoulders, the other draped over the back cushion. We were halfway through some random thriller, the kind where the husband turns out to be the villain, and I remember thinking how cheesy it was, like who doesn't notice their own partner turning into a stranger. Mark laughed at something on screen, but his body was tense. His knee kept bouncing like he was plugged into a wall socket. I reached for his phone on the table to check the time, and the way he flinched, not subtle, not normal. Like I'd reached for a gun instead of a phone. What? I said, already pulling my hand back. Relax, I was just checking the time. Yay, he said too fast, grabbing the phone and sliding it into his pocket. Just work stuff. We were that couple everyone hated a little. 10 years together. High school sweethearts. Married 5. The ones people used as examples, like, see, real love still exists. Sunday pancakes, shared playlists, inside jokes no one else understood. The kind of relationship that makes other people roll their eyes because it looks too perfect to be real. And for the record, it felt real to me. For the last few months, though, something was off. Not in a dramatic movie way, more like a low hum under the surface. Mark was distracted, short-tempered, always glued to his phone, always ranting about Derek, the rival exec from Zenith Logistics. Derek stole deals, stole ideas, stole spotlight. According to Mark, Derek was the devil in a tailored suit. So when Mark's phone buzzed on the table at 10 p.m. sharp and he lunged for it like a man trying to catch a falling knife, I didn't accuse him, I didn't jump to cheating, I didn't even joke he checked the screen. The color drained out of his face. Who was that? I asked. Spam, he said. Work spam. You know how they are. 5 seconds later, another buzz. This time, he didn't answer in front of me. He stood up and walked into the kitchen. I muted the TV. I'm not proud of listening in, but I also wasn't deaf. I can't tonight, he whispered. Pause. Are you serious? Another pause. Okay. I'm coming? Yeah, I'll leave now. He came back looking like someone had just punched him in the chest. There's a supply chain disaster in Chicago, he said, already grabbing his keys. Clients threatening to walk. If I'm not there by morning, Derek gets the account. This is bad, babe. Like, career-ending bad. Chicago-ready flight, emergency meeting. Derek's name slipped in there like a pressure point he knew worked on me. I did what supportive wives do. I filled his travel mug. I kissed him on the cheek and told him to call me when he landed. As he shoved clothes into his overnight bag, I noticed his laptop sitting on the desk. You're forgetting this, I said, holding it up. He froze, not paused, froze, for half a second. I saw something in his eyes I had never seen before. Fear, sharp and naked, right? Thanks. He snatched it, shoved it into the bag, kissed me again, quick drop, disconnected and was gone. I stood in the doorway watching his taillights disappear, trying to convince myself that the pit opening in my stomach was just anxiety. I went back to the couch to shut off the TV. That's when I felt something under the cushion. I pulled it out, his passport. Now maybe he'd left it there from our last trip. That's what I told myself. People forget stuff. People are human. People don't cheat just because your gut is screaming at you. But the screaming didn't stop. I sat there staring at that passport like it was a loaded confession. The house felt wrong. Too quiet. Too empty for someone who was supposed to be married. I told myself not to be crazy. I told myself I was being dramatic. I told myself I trusted my husband. Then I opened the tracking app. We shared locations. Always. Had. For safety. For convenience. For, hey, did you make it home? Moments. I'd never used it to spy on him before. Ever. The little blue dot popped up. He was moving. He'd been gone 30 minutes. The airport was north. The dot was going west. Probably traffic. I whispered to no one. Probably just rebooting. But my hands were already shaking as I checked traffic. No accidents. No detours. He wasn't heading to the airport. He was heading into the richest neighborhood in our city. And that's when the first memory snapped into place. The perfume that wasn't mine. The laptop slams. The passcode changed. The late nights. The way Derek's name came up a little too often. I grabbed my keys before my brain could stop me. I wasn't driving to catch him cheating. I was driving to prove I was wrong. And I didn't know yet that the house he was walking into didn't belong to some random woman. It belonged to the one man he hated more than anyone in the world. And the woman waiting for him, she wasn't a stranger. She was about to become my revenge. The little blue dot stopped moving. That was the moment my chest went hollow, like someone scooped the air right out of my lungs. It's one thing to watch someone drift across a map. It's another to see them arrive. Arriving means a decision has been made. Arriving means whatever lie you were told just became real. I pulled over on the side of the road so fast the tires screamed. My phone was shaking in my hand. The address was right there on the screen. Neat and clean. Like it wasn't about to blow up my entire life. Willow Creek Drive. Oak Creek wasn't just rich. It was rich. The kind of neighborhood where every house looks like a movie set. And every driveway is longer than my entire street. No hotels. No offices. No warehouses. No airports. Just gates, hedges, and homes so big they feel empty even when someone lives inside them. Maybe he's meeting a client, I muttered, at 10:30 at night. With an overnight bag, in a gated mansion. Yeah, sure. I started driving again. This time faster, my eyes flicking between the road and the glowing map on my dashboard. Every red light felt personal. Every slow driver felt like they were standing between me and the truth. I called Mark. It rang. Once, twice, then voicemail. Hey, it's Mark. Leave a message. My voice came out too calm. Hey babe, just wanted to make sure you made it to the airport okay? Call me when you land. Love you. I hung up and laughed. Not because anything was funny, but because my body didn't know what else to do. That laugh had a crack in it. The kind you hear from people right before they break. As I drove. The last few months started replaying in my head, like a messed up highlight reel. The night he came home smelling like expensive perfume and blamed the Uber, the way he'd angle his phone away from me like I was radioactive, the sudden gym obsession, the new clothes, the way he started caring about his hair again after years of not giving a damn. I had brushed it all off. We'd been together forever. People go through phases. Stress changes people. Love is about Giving the benefit of the doubt, right? But doubt doesn't feel like this. This felt like my brain finally admitting what my gut had been screaming. The dot was still parked. I zoomed in. The address popped up clearly now. I didn't recognize the street, but something about the area felt familiar. Then a memory hit me so hard I had to pull over again. A Christmas party 2 years ago. Mark standing by the bar, jaw tight, pointing across the room at a guy in a tailored suit. "That's Derek," he'd muttered. "The guy who steals everything from me." And next to Derek, his wife, Alina, tall, elegant, the kind of woman who doesn't try to be intimidating, she just is. I remembered thinking she looked bored with everyone in the room, including her own husband. I had no idea where they lived, but Oak Creek felt exactly like their vibe. I did something I didn't even know I was capable of doing in the moment. I Googled Derek's name. While stopped at a light, public records popped up like the universe was actively snitching for me. Derek Vance, 45 Willow Creek Drive. I stared at the screen until my vision blurred. My husband wasn't going to the airport. He wasn't meeting a client. He was at the house of the man he claimed to hate most in the world. And suddenly, the lie wasn't just about cheating. It was personal. It was petty. It was twisted. I pulled onto Willow Creek Drive with my headlights off, heart hammering so loud I was convinced the entire neighborhood could hear it. The street was dark, quiet, lined with trees that looked older than most marriages.
How's it?
Were set way back, hidden behind gates and landscaping that probably cost more than my car. Then I saw it. Mark's car nod in the driveway. Not proudly parked out front, but tucked 3 houses down, half hidden under a tree like a guilty secret. That's when the last bit of denial in me died. I parked a block away and just sat there, hands locked on the steering wheel, staring into the dark. This wasn't some misunderstanding. This was deliberate. You don't hide your car unless you don't want to be seen. I got out. The air was cold and smelled like wet leaves and rich people's money. I pulled my hood up like that was going to magically make me invisible and started walking. Each step felt heavier than the last. My legs were moving, but my brain was begging me to stop. If I turned back now, I could still pretend. I could go home and let this rot quietly inside me. I could stay married to the version of Mark I wanted to believe in. But I didn't come this far to protect a lie. I slipped through the open gate like I was trespassing in my own life. The house loomed in front of me, lights mostly off. One room downstairs glowed softly. Upstairs, a bedroom light was on behind sheer curtains. 2 shadows moved across the window. One tall, one broad. My heart started slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape my body. I couldn't see faces. I couldn't see details, just shapes. And shapes are dangerous because your brain fills in the blanks with whatever hurts the most. Crept closer to the house, shoes crunching softly on gravel, praying no one would hear me. There was a back patio with French doors, and one of them was cracked open just enough to let sounds spill out. Voices. A woman's voice laughed, soft, intimate. "He thinks I'm at a spa retreat. Derek doesn't even look up from his laptop anymore." My blood went cold. A man answered, "I don't care what he thinks." I would have recognized that voice anywhere. That was my husband. I pressed my back against the wall as my knees threatened to give out. Hearing him say it, hearing the way his voice changed when he spoke to her, it wasn't just betrayal. It was like watching a stranger wear my husband's face. I leaned in just enough to see through the glass. Mark was standing in Derek's kitchen. Alina was standing between his legs. Her hands were in his hair. He was kissing her like he meant it. And the worst part, he looked happy, the kind of happy I hadn't seen on his face in months. I didn't cry, not yet. My body went cold instead, like it flipped into survival mode. Because in that moment, something else hit me, sharp and dangerous. If I walked in, there screaming, I'd lose. If I walked away quietly, I could make him lose everything. And as I stood there watching my husband betray me in his rival's house, I realized this wasn't just about catching a cheater anymore. This was about choosing how the story ended, and I was done being the victim in it. If you're watching this story, tighten your blanket and hit the like button so YouTube understands you want the next chapter unlocked, and tell me in the comments, which beautiful country are you watching from? And what's the exact time there right now? I didn't storm inside. I didn't throw a fit. I didn't even cry. That surprised me more than anything. Something in me went ice, quote, like a switch flipped from heartbreak to strategy. Because the second I saw him kiss her in that kitchen, I knew one thing for sure. If I reacted like a wounded wife, he'd lie, gaslight, and twist the story until I walked away doubting my own eyes. Mark was good at that. He was good at sounding reasonable while doing unreasonable things. So I stayed quiet. I slid my phone out of my pocket and turned the brightness all the way down. My hands were shaking so bad, I had to brace my elbows against the door frame just to keep the camera steady. No flash, no sound, just proof. I've recorded everything. Their faces, the way her fingers curled in his hair, the way his hand rested on her waist like it belonged there, the wine bottle on the counter, the clock on the wall proved exactly what time he was supposed to be landing in Chicago. 2 full minutes. Clear, undeniable. The kind of footage that ends arguments before they start. Then, I stepped back into the dark. Every step away from that house felt like I was walking out of my own life. I didn't feel strong. I felt empty, hollow, like someone scooped the center out of me and left the shell standing. I made it back to my car before my legs gave out. The second the door shut, I finally broke. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in that ugly, silent way where your mouth opens and nothing comes out. Just air, just pain. My hands were on the steering wheel, my forehead pressed against it, and I was shaking so hard my teeth were chattering. Then my phone buzzed. Mark got a text. Landed in Chicago. Exhausted. Going straight to the hotel. Love you, eh? Stared at the screen until the words stopped looking like words and started looking like a threat. That text wasn't just a lie. It was confidence. It was him believing I was stupid enough to buy it. That's when the rage showed up. Not loud rage, focused rage. The kind that doesn't scream at plans. Mark cared about 2 things in this world. His reputation and beating. Derek, Bassett, love came 3rd, maybe 4th. And right now, he was using Derek's wife as some twisted way to feel powerful. So I went home. The house felt fake when I walked in, like a set built for a show that just got canceled. His shoes by the door, our picture frames on the wall, our life sitting there like it wasn't already over. I didn't pack his stuff. Not yet, that would come later. I sat at the kitchen table and opened my laptop. Finding Derek's work email took 10 seconds. Finding his personal accounts took 20. People overshare online, especially men who think they're winning. His Facebook was public, his Instagram was full of gym selfies and business trip photos. And right there, posted 2 hours ago, London bound. Global summit. Big moves are coming. London. The house was empty on purpose. I composed the message slowly, letting every word land exactly where I wanted it to. Subject: you should check your kitchen, Bhakti. I'm not a troll. I'm the wife of the man currently in your house. Watch the video before you respond. I attached a clip. My finger hovered over send. There's this moment before you do something that changes your life forever. A quiet little breath where you could still turn back. I've thought about the last 10 years. The girl I was when I married him. The version of me that believed loyalty was mutual. Then I hit send. I expected chaos. I expected screaming texts. I expected threats. What I got was silence. Minutes passed. Then I got a notification. Derek Vance viewed your profile. Then a message. Who is this? The woman whose husband is in your kitchen. I replied. 3 dots. Gone. 3 dots again. I'm landing in 4 hours. Thank you. That was it. No anger. No denial. Just thank you. And that scared me more than if he'd cursed me out. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, staring at the wall like it might answer me back. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped into my throat. At 6:17 a.m. Mark called. I let it ring. He called again. I answered on the 3rd ring like nothing was wrong. Hey babe, I said sweetly. How's Chicago? There was panic in his breathing. Sarah, something's wrong. Derek sent me something, a screenshot from inside his house. Oh, I said, calm as hell. That's weird. Why would he have pictures from inside his house? You're in Chicago. Long silence. I can explain, Mark said. It was just a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I was coming back anyway. I'm driving now. I'll be home in 20 minutes. Please don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything crazy. Almost laughed when I hung up. I made one more move. One that even I didn't realize was going to turn this into something way bigger than revenge. I forwarded the video not to Derek to Mark's CEO with one line. This is your senior executive. Recorded at 10:43 p.m., Molly told his wife. He was flying to Chicago for work. Then I sat back and waited. Here's the part that still messes with my head. I thought I was blowing up a marriage. I had no idea I just triggered a chain reaction that was about to destroy his career, his reputation, and the one thing he cared about more than either of us. And the worst part, he was about to walk through the front door thinking this was just a messy argument. Not knowing he was about to lose everything he thought made him powerful. The front door rattled, like it was scared of him. I didn't move. I didn't even look up from my coffee. I just sat there at the kitchen table, calm in a way that only comes when you're already dead inside. My heart wasn't racing anymore. That part of me had burned out hours ago. Mark burst in looking wrecked, not sad, wrecked, desperate. His hair was a mess. His blazer was gone. And there were dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days instead of hours. Sarah, please, he said, already reaching for me. Before you say anything, I know, I said. He froze mid-step. He rushed out. You don't know the whole story. It was a stupid mistake. I was angry at Derek. I was drunk, and it got out of hand. It wasn't even planned. It meant nothing. I finally looked at him. Really looked at him. The man I married was gone. This guy standing in my kitchen was just a bundle of excuses wearing his face. You packed an overnight bag, I said quietly. You lied about Chicago. You parked 3 houses down. You kissed her in Derek's kitchen like you'd been starving. That doesn't happen by accident. One mistake is forgetting to take out the trash, I snapped. You built a whole double life. You just didn't think I'd notice. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His face went pale. It's my CEO. Answer it, I said. He hesitated. I smiled. Put it on speaker. He did. Mark, the voice said, clipped and cold. Mark slid down into a chair like his bones gave up. Please, he croaked. This is personal. This has nothing to do with work. The CEO laughed, not amused, just tired. When your personal choices put the company at risk, it becomes work. We'll be in touch through legal. The line went dead. Boff stared at the phone like it had betrayed him too. This is your fault, he said, eyes snapping up to me. You did this. You ruined my career. I leaned in close enough that he could smell the coffee on my breath. No, I said. You did. I just turned the lights on. Mark looked up at me with raw fear. What do I do now? I picked up my purse. You figure out who you are without lies, I said, because you don't get to be my problem anymore. As I walked toward the door, I heard him break behind me. Not in a dramatic way, just a soft, defeated sound, like something finally collapsing under its own weight. I paused at the doorway. By the way, I said without turning around, you should check your email. There's one more message you haven't seen yet. He frowned. From who? I opened the door. From Elena's lawyer. The sun was barely up when my phone buzzed again. I was already halfway down the block, sitting in my car with the engine running, just breathing, not crying, not screaming, just letting the adrenaline drain out of my system. It felt like coming down from a fight you didn't know you'd survive. Mark didn't chase me. That told me everything I needed to know. My phone lit up with a new message. Unknown number. This is Elena. Please tell me this isn't true. I stared at the screen for a long second. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I didn't owe her anything. She wasn't some innocent bystander. She knew he was married. She knew exactly what she was doing. But something about the wording hit me. Please tell me this isn't true. That's what denial looks like right before it dies. I typed back, it's true. I recorded it. You weren't special. You were convenient. 3 dots appeared. Then it disappeared. Then nothing. I put my phone face down and drove. I didn't go to a hotel. I didn't go to a friend's place. I went to the one spot in the city where I used to go when I needed to think. This ugly little overlook near the river where you can hear traffic in the distance but no one bothers you. I sat there watching the water move like it didn't care about anyone's mess. An hour later, my phone exploded with notifications. Mark, Derek, a number I didn't recognize. My mother in law. I ignored all of it. Then one message cut through the noise. From Derek, you didn't just expose an affair. You exposed theft. He used his access to photograph internal documents in my home office. My wife admitted it. My lawyers are handling the rest. I won't involve you further. But you should know the truth. That part landed sideways. Photographed. Man TSI replayed the video I'd recorded. They kicked the island, the wine bottle, and then I noticed something I hadn't clocked in the moment. Mark's laptop bag on the floor near the counter, zipped open. The edge of a manila folder is barely visible. The business trip, the rival's house, the overnight bag. It hadn't just been an affair, it had been a setup. Mark hadn't only betrayed me, he'd been stupid enough to mix revenge, sex, and corporate theft like that wouldn't blow up in his face. The irony was brutal. He'd spent months accusing Derek of stealing his ideas, while he was the one trying to steal Derek's. I laughed out loud. The kind of laugh that comes from realizing you married your own villain. By noon, the fallout went public. A press release from Zenith Logistics hit LinkedIn. No names, just a senior executive from a competing firm is under investigation for unauthorized access to proprietary materials. Mark's company quietly updated their leadership page. His name disappeared. 10 years of climbing the ladder, wiped in a morning. My phone buzzed again. Mark, please. I messed up. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I was just trying to get leverage on Derek. I swear Elena was just a distraction. You're my real life. You're my home. That line almost got me. Almost. Because it sounded like something out of a rom-com. But then I pictured him whispering, in her kitchen, lying in my face, using people like chess pieces. Home isn't something you lie to. I typed one last message to him. You didn't lose me when you cheated. You lost me when you decided I was stupid enough to never find out. Then I blocked him. A week later, the reality settled in. The house went on the market. The divorce paperwork started moving. Friends picked sides. Some people tried to stay neutral, which is code for, I don't want to be uncomfortable. Alina reached out again. This time, it wasn't denial. He told me you knew, she wrote. He said you were crazy and obsessed with Derek. I believed him. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. Here's the twist. People don't expect. Derek didn't leave her after everything. He stayed. Publicly, at least. They posted smiling pictures 2 weeks later. Anniversary dinner. Fresh start. New chapter captions. The internet ate it up. But I ran into her once, months later, at a charity event I went to for work. She looked thinner, tired. The kind of tired you get when you stay in something that's broken because leaving would cost too much. She caught my eye across the room. She knew, I knew. We didn't speak. And that was enough. Ma, last I heard, he's renting a studio and working commission sales for a company that doesn't care about his MBA. Derek's legal team is still circling. The investigation hasn't gone away. It probably won't. As for me, I didn't win in the fairy tale sense. There was no instant glow-up montage. No dramatic revenge smile in the mirror. There was grief, therapy, angry nights, quiet mornings, learning how to sleep in a bed that doesn't lie to you. But here's what I did win. Claradina version of my life I lost wasn't real. It was a set built on secrets. I don't miss living in a lie just because it looked pretty from the outside. So if you're watching this and your gut is whispering that something doesn't add up, listen to it. Don't let comfort gaslight you into staying blind. The truth hurts, but it also frees you in ways lies never will. If this story hit you in the chest, tap the like button so more people hear it. If you've ever caught someone lying to your face, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want the full update on how the legal fallout ended and the one detail I haven't shared yet because it's still messy, hit subscribe. Trust your gut. It sees things your heart isn't ready to accept yet.